voice is going, we can start. Suresh Menon, hello, hi. You have a question? So, good morning. We are now, so this is our introduction for the course English Language for Competitive Exams. I'm here, your instructor, Aisha Iqbal Vishamohan. I am a professor at Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. And yeah, it's a pleasure being with you. So let's start. Let's start a question and answer session. Suresh, hi. Do you have a question? Okay, so while I wait for your questions, let me just give you a briefing of what this course is all about. So the course is not just an introductory course to English language, but rather it is designed to prepare you for higher level, advanced level competitive exams, be it for banking or international exams for language. So we have tried to cover certain important modules, but most importantly, I wanted to stress on developing vocabulary. See, for example, in exams such as TOEFL or GRE, vocabulary forms an important aspect or an important part of the question paper, and many students, although they know the word and they have come across the word in while reading, while preparing, but they don't really know how to use the word in its context. So what I have done is pay a lot of attention to vocabulary, etymology, origin of the word, and also tracing its roots, or whether it's Latin or Greek or Old English or French. So uh, that is one contribution that the course makes towards developing the English language skills of the students who are essentially appearing for the competitive exams. We have also, of course, taken into consideration other important elements of such kinds of exams. For instance, the reading skills, writing, of course, essay writing in particular, and listening to some extent. Grammar, yes, definitely grammar is a very important part of this course. Particularly, we have focused on um, the correct usage and completing the sentences and reading comprehension. So things which are generally expected in competitive exams. So it is a higher order course, definitely. Now, Rishabh, hi, hello. Do you have a question? While I wait for your question, so one advice that I would like to give all of you, and I think these questions will come up at a later stage. Um, this is definitely a more complex and more complicated course, so you have to be patient. Now, this is not a kind of course which is meant for improving day to day or functional English. This is definitely aimed at improving the kind of language skills higher order exams expect from you. So therefore, the level of the course is slightly complex, more complicated, and definitely more advanced than other English language courses. Shweta, and yes, you have a question. Good morning. Please go ahead. the title. I need some more guidance on how to improve my vocabulary. Okay, Shweta, if you are already enrolled for the course, then you will find that there are lots of exercises on vocabulary, and in my opinion, it covers an entire gamut of vocabulary that may be of use to you for your competitive exams of any kind. I'm not mentioning now exams by their names, and I shouldn't be even referring to specific exams because that's not the way we designed the course. So it was like to cover the important aspects uh, that maybe that are generally um, uh, that generally pose a problem or challenge for Indian students when they appear for certain kinds of competitive exams, national or international. Now, how to improve your vocabulary? Please watch the videos very carefully. Try to do the assignments, take the practice tests, which are given very regularly in the course. More importantly, if you want to keep on revising your vocabulary, then it's advisable that you read higher order literature and higher order magazines. Now, blogs, okay, there are always exceptions. Blogs can be also extremely um, useful, but in this particular context, higher order literature, higher order magazines, and newspapers. So that's the way you improve your vocabulary if you're looking at appearing for or doing well in competitive exams. Risha, what is the problem in solving sentence correction? Please be more specific. Because in the course, the way we have designed the course, we have taken examples from the real kinds of exams where such questions or such sentences are asked um, for problem solving in sentence correction. So, what is your specific query? Okay, while you think of your specific query, let me tell you, um, problems arise in the section which is dealing with sentence correction when we are not very clear about reading comprehension. If only you would develop your reading abilities more, and that will come if you, again, you start reading, practice reading, and what sort of things you should read. So, newspaper editorials, the Hindu, the Times of India, Hindustan Times, they have excellent editorials. So read those, and that would be of great help when you look at. You should be able to anticipate that how a sentence like this would get completed. So that's the way we crack such kinds of exams. So, as I keep telling you that if you think that you can crack and you can score very high marks for an international exam of English language by preparing for 2 or 3 months, I don't think that would happen. It requires practice, consistent practice. Yeah, grammatical. Grammar is always a challenge. Um, if you are particularly stuck with grammar, then there is a book by Martin Hewings, Advanced English Grammar. It's an Oxford publication, so please take a look at it. The grammar is yours, and I think it deals with grammar in a very detailed, in-depth manner. It will solve most of your queries. Next question, please. In module 5, vocabulary text completion part 1. Please, yeah, I don't have videos in front of me right now. Can you give me any sentence? Because right now I'm just here to respond to your specific queries, not to your general queries, not looking at specific videos. So you please tell me what exactly is your query. So while you think of it, to develop your vocabulary, there are several interesting books available. Of course, the net is also an important source. So if you look up, you type the exam, the kind of exam that you are aiming to appear for, you aspire to crack, and then um, look up the net for the specific module. I'm sure you will get lots and lots of yeah, examples. According to the poll, students at this university abuse cognitive. Yes, what is the question then? Now, I'm sorry, Shweta, you'll have to be definitely more specific. I'm not having my videos in front of me. So perhaps you can mail me on my personal ID and I would be able to look at this query. Okay, let's have another question. All right, if the selected choice is not very clear to you, what you can do is send me a mail on the discussion forum we have, and I'll definitely get back to you within a day or two. We'll look at all the choices again and then we'll revert to you. Now, is there any other question? Is this course sufficient for SSC CGL examination? What is CGL? What is CGL? I know SSC because it's an exam, school level exam, but what is CGL? Could you be specific? There is a question which asks, is this course sufficient for SSC CGL examination? See, let me tell you, no course is ever sufficient for any exam. It's no one can claim that you take my course and you will be able to crack any exam. You will have to supplement and complement the course with some books and other resources as well. So, combined graduate level. If it's a college level, um, I think perhaps it is, but again, you have to also depend on the resources which are provided by your faculty members. I am not too sure of what is this combined graduate level SSC exam. If you can be more specific, I'll be able to tell you. It's an examination conducted by SSC Board for various posts in income tax, CBI. Fine. I think that this course should do well. to crack this kind of exam also. I was basically thinking when designing the course for international but also national, like banking, PO, and all, and sometimes even for various civil services exams also. So perhaps this course is quite, it will solve a lot of your queries for appearing for the exams or posts that you have just mentioned. But however, I'm sure that there are textbooks which are particularly geared towards developing only these exams, the kind of exams you're talking about. Please consult them also. Yes. Shweta asks, could you suggest some specific material, books, journals for improving vocabulary? Okay. If you are a consistent reader, yes, there are lots of books. Journal reading, I don't know what is a specific domain. So all higher quality journals, they have very good vocabulary, and all of us read them and improve the vocabulary in our domain. However, if you want to, broadly speaking, novels of Thackeray, novels of Charles Dickens, Henry James, okay, Fitzgerald, they are excellent for improving vocabulary. So that those are the novels I'm talking about. I don't think that you will develop much vocabulary by reading uh, the newspaper headlines or even self-help kind of books or any. But you look at novels closer home. You look at novels by Kiran Desai or Anita Desai or Salman Rushdie, and I'm sure that you will find them very useful. But it is, again, book reading is a habit that has to be cultivated. I think there is something missing here. No, no, no. There's a question up there. Go up, 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 up. No, no, before him. Yes, yes. Hemant Kumar. Yes, thank you. Um, yeah. Suraj, this, can you remove this arrow? No, but it's covering the. Yes, Vignesh. Yes. Hello. What's the query? I'm not able to see queries. Yes. How can we improve synonyms and antonyms? Gaurav, I think we have done plenty of exercises, synonyms and antonyms. But if you are talking about, because this is very GRE kind of vocabulary and question, but I'm sure that there are other exams also where synonym and antonyms are tested. There are books related to synonyms and antonyms. So you can, for if you want more practice, then perhaps you should look at those books. If you think that the level of the exam that you are taking is sort of corresponding with whatever we are doing in this particular course, then you have to look for that level. So if you just look up synonym antonym, you will get a very basic and common kind of usage also. Perhaps you don't require that. If you want a higher level, for example, if you are appearing for GRE or banking exam, then you will have to look up for books in that area, and in order to supplement the course. But I think in my course I have covered a lot of this area. uh, Balakrishnan Rajgopalan, good morning. Yeah, okay, good morning, please tell me. Adjective, yeah, there is a question from uh, Naga Sandeep. How can I know the difference between adjectives and adverbs? I'll give an example. The book is very important. Okay, so important is an adjective. It qualifies. It adds something to the book. Book is a noun. So it's an adjective. If you say it's a little bottle, okay, I have this bottle in my hand, and it's a very small bottle. It's a little bottle. So this means little is an adjective. Bottle is a noun. Adjectives add something to nouns. So that is their function. It's a useless book. The table is very heavy. So heavy, useless, these are adjectives. Now, very important becomes a qualifier, and it's an adverb. I often have to hurry um, during the day because there are so many things to do. So often becomes is not, yeah, often is the way I do things. Okay, so it becomes your adverb. Many words which end in ly, uh, um, lately, or admittedly, or interestingly. So these are adverbs. Okay, adverbs are they add to the meaning of the verb. In what way? Adjectives add something to the noun. Saurabh Kumar, good morning. Please ask me, do you have any questions for me? Yes, Gaurav. Can you please suggest book for these exams for synonyms and antonyms? Yeah, for TOEFL exam, there are plenty of books for synonyms and antonyms. I think TOEFL has its own brand of books. See, and which is very, and I don't want to name specific publishers, but if you just look up for TOEFL, then there are lots of books and synonym antonyms also, as I just said, responded a minute ago to someone else, that there are lots of books available for TOEFL specific. So TOEFL sentence correction, TOEFL antonyms, synonyms. There are specific. If you think you're lacking or lagging behind in a certain domain or aspect of TOEFL exam, then there are books to address those issues also. But in the, again, I will say the same thing. The course covers a lot of ground. Um, I won't be able to tell you about this. Is I'm responding to Naveen. What is the exam pattern, ma'am, and how many questions? I really don't know because see, exam. I won't. I really I don't know means I won't be able to comment or commit right now because I don't know specific latest patterns of every exam. So you have to look up or contact the exam authorities directly about the pattern. I'm sure before the exam, they will send you a sample question paper. You have to look at that and you have to prepare accordingly. There's a question up there. See, CAT exam. Yeah, CAT exam is a very higher order exam. My course can help, but I think there are CAT specific books also. Please look them up. I keep saying, my course, the course I have developed here is extremely comprehensive. It covers a lot of ground, but and no teacher can say but that this is all. This is all you have to do. It cannot be like that. You have to do a lot of work on your own. So nothing is more beneficial than self-study. So my course can add as an excellent resource, but you have to also do some of your own reading and something more specific for the course for the exam that you are taking. Some of you are mentioning exams. Yes, for those exams there are specific books. Combine English language for competitive exams with those books. Ma'am, how can I improve idioms and phrases? A couple of years ago, there was an excellent book by uh, uh, Collins, Collins, or Co. Yeah, I can't remember the spelling, but Collins, idioms and phrases, and also phrasal verbs. I think so. I think though that is the book that you should consult. Again, if you want to look, or there has to be a go-to book, then it has to be Oxford English, Oxford Advanced English Learner Dictionary. That is the go-to book if you want it. That's a one-stop solution to most. So it's a thick book, it's a fat book. You can keep it at your bedside and read it every day. You will learn a lot. So nothing better than practice. So let me again tell you, if English is what interests you, if you're interested, if you think you're very good in your subject, but English is something that is bothering you. My course, along with regular reading of newspapers, some good English novels, and also uh, um, going through Oxford Advanced English Language Dictionary. So there are lots of examples given for idioms, phrases, and etc. There is also an Oxford Dictionary of Collocations. Some of you might be interested in that also. Collocations, Collocations. So Cations. So please look that up as well. Um, Move pattern of exam, the way we are conducting the course. I mean, so you will have some reading passages, some for grammar, and lot of vocabulary. So that is going to be the pattern. I will let you know the pattern. Just send a question to the discussion forum for asking for requesting for a pattern. We will send you. Will respond to you right away. Naveen. Within a day or two, I'll respond to you. There's a question on improving certain exam skills, how to get high score in these exams. Speaking, you have to, but if these exams include the speaking module, please practice speaking with your teacher, or any academy that you are associated with your friends. Okay, they have very specific kinds of speaking modules. We cannot comment on that. Vocabulary, of course, for vocabulary and improve your grammar, you have lot of exercises in my course. Apart from that, if you have any specific requirement, please look up the net. There are lots of books available for improving your abilities for specific kinds of exams. In Nagasandhi past, please suggest good book for English grammar. Martin Huing's book. It's called Advanced English Grammar. It's an Oxford publication. Naveen asks, what is the strategy for paragraph solving? By paragraph solving, I understand you are asking for, is it reading? If it's reading, yes, you have to improve your reading abilities. It comes with practice. Again, if you look at sample test papers, sample exams, sample questions, then and start solving them, and you have to time yourself. Of course, time is of extreme importance. You will have to practice accordingly. Substitute for government exam banks for any suggest. Yeah, you have to look for any kind of exams now something that you're looking for. Look it up. I'm sure that of late there are lots of interesting books which are catering to the latest pattern. See, these exams keep changing their patterns, their syllabus very often, so you have to pay attention to that. So please look up for the most updated kind of resource here. My course is an excellent complement or supplement to what you're doing. What are the list of competitive exams I can target after the course? A number of course, a number of exams you can target. Sandeep, so Pradeep, you can target a number of exams. Many of our candidates here are, or many of our participants here are already mentioning those names. So bank exam and PO and all even some of the international exams like TOEFL. So these are the hyperbole, irony, metaphor. Irony is related to sarcasm. For example, in Shakespeare, uh, an actor who is dying, he says, "Come tomorrow and I will be a grave man." Because somebody says you are always clowning around, horsing around, and he says, "Come tomorrow, I will be a grave man." So that is irony because he knows he's dying. The listener wouldn't know, but we know as readers that he has been stabbed and he's going to die soon. So that's the irony, which which is implicit in the sentence. Hyperbole is exaggeration. bombast, almost bordering on bombast. Sometimes, we come across, and if you watch our films, there is a lot of hyperbole, ideological hyperbole, and also people exaggerate a lot. They go into raptures about, so that is, which is not really. So hyperbole is something that you are describing something or explaining something, and it's completely going out of proportions. Metaphor is quite similar to something called simile. When I say um, uh, as pretty as a rose, so as the word as, it suggests comparison with a rose. So that is a simile. But she is a rose. I am attributing every quality of rose on her. That becomes a metaphor, not just a comparison. So metaphor goes a little beyond simile. Uh, Speaking English fluently, I think it's not such a big problem. All you have to do is start practicing in today's mm, times when technology has advanced so much. I have come across the students, especially students who may not have opportunities to practice their spoken English with someone else. So they can now practice their spoken English uh, with an online teacher, where there are sufficient resources where they can speak and they can be responded to. So somebody is there at the other end and giving you live demonstrations on speaking and correcting your speech as well. So it's only through practice. You'll have to just make that extra effort to find out the right kind of program for you. Okay, Shweta, thank you. So, Pradeep, what is the lifelong lesson we can take from Macbeth? Uh, this is an out and out literature question, and I don't think that we are looking at literature. But so, Pradeep, just as an aberration, I will give you response for this. But however, we are not going to delve too much into these kinds of questions. So, lifelong lesson. Macbeth is all about impulse and passion, and Shakespeare cautions us against the excesses of ambitions. So whoever gets ambitious, okay, excessively ambitious, so there are always consequences to it. So that is the way I would. I mean, if you want to look at at the moral of Macbeth, that should be, listen, always be careful. Be ambitious. It's very good to be ambitious. It gives you the right kind of motivation. However, you don't go beyond certain boundaries. You don't step on people's toes. That is the, yeah, that's the message or moral of it. Nada Sandeep, Martin Queens. I will dictate the spelling of the author. Martin, Martin Hewings, Hewings. Hewings. Advanced English Grammar. It's an Oxford publication. I think this course, Subhadeep, is going to be offered next semester also. I'm not too sure, but if you could just look up NPTEL website, I'm offering a course in American literature, which is an out and out literature based course. So that is, we start that course from January 2019, and along with that, we have, I think we are uh, going to do a rerun of this course, English language for competitive exams. But you please check with the NPTEL website. Pronunciation, yeah, and the best way to improve your pronunciation would be to, well, you watch the newsreaders on the BBC, or CNN, or even the English newsreaders that you like, even from our Indian context. So, that or whatever is your preferred channel. So, pronunciation can be improved. It's not such a big problem to improve your pronunciation. You can also practice. Online dictionaries also give, apart from the meaning of the word, they also provide the usage and pronunciation, and in an audio way, so you can use that. So, if you're asking me extremely, personal kinds of, and also very personal queries, which I would say that made of and made from. I think if you just look these things up, you will come across the meaning. Made of and made from is, there's not much of a difference unless and until you give me the context. Um, yes, I have something to some general tips to improve on some advanced level your English speaking. Yeah. So there's a query. I don't know what is your real name, but okay. So you want tips on improving your spoken English. I would say that if you could start reading, because you mentioned advanced level. If you read at an advanced level, um, you will automatically find that it trickles down to your speaking abilities as well, and it comes with practice. You listen to what you think is advanced level of English, you read the advanced level of English, and you will very soon find there's a lot of improvement. And of course, practice with people who you think are good speakers of the English language. My favorite scientific article, I would just say that I used to read a lot of science fiction. Science article, I wouldn't read much because I'm not a student of science. But science fiction, Isaac Asimov, Bertrand Russell, who are not actually into science fiction, but yeah, they do write things which require some understanding of science, and you can pick up some scientific language or vocabulary from their works. And of course, you read uh, uh, this book called I, Robot. There's a movie based on that, I, Robo or I, Robot. So those are the kinds of things that I have read by way of science fiction. But of course, there are very higher level science fiction books available there. Um, yes, Fahrenheit 451, I remember, which is a kind of a futuristic novel, and also it has a lot of scientific terms and vocabulary. Reading comprehension is really tough. The reading comprehension that is given, Nagasandeep, in the course is also very tough. It is geared to prepare you for exams such as what you have just mentioned. Apart from the course, if you want, particularly are aiming to crack the bank exam, so look up the latest books and the syllabus of this particular exam and read. Apart from that, read the editorials and the business section of newspapers. There are also very good business magazines around. Okay, so I think that should also be of use to you. No, I wouldn't know, Subhadeep, what exactly you're talking about. So, if you had asked me taken a kind of a title, I won't be able to respond to that. MOOC assignments are tough. Please make them. Yeah, my question earlier was, rather comment for one of the earlier. This is a read and course, as you would know. But earlier we had a comment that because the course is supposed to be advanced level, the assignments and exam pattern or exam also should be a little more complex. So unfortunately, it cannot be made easier. It can only be made tougher. So I have another course which is also running right now. It is called English for technical purposes, or English for engineers. Yeah, technical English for engineers. So I think if you want a slightly easier course, then you go for that. Comparatively, but English for competitive exams will always be tough and challenging, because as someone mentioned right now, that the exams that people aim for, they are very tough. Okay, and rightly so, because the idea of such exams is to filter out people who are not all that competent. So you have to prepare accordingly. Okay. How can I improve my vocabulary? Yeah, vocabulary can be made. Uh, yeah, to improve your vocabulary, suggest some good books. Now, I think the market is full of books which are there for developing vocabulary. Um, Let me suggest a series of books which is brought out by Cambridge Publications. So if you could just look up Cambridge books for developing, for example, business vocabulary, or Cambridge series for developing idioms and phrases, or Cambridge series for developing phrasal verbs. I think you will come across a lot of books, lot of titles, and perhaps you can help yourself. The difference between these two courses, technical English for engineers, is more, if you have gone through that course, then there is a lot of technical language, technical examples from technical readings, and even the writing is geared towards developing uh, the kind of writing that engineers or people who are in the area of science and technology would be interested in. The reading passages are all taken basically from uh, the domain of science and technology. The vocabulary is also developed or geared towards that. English for competitive exams is more specific to develop the kind of vocabulary that people who appear, or kind of the English language for people who would like to appear for competitive exams. So there is a difference. English newspapers, I am from southern India, so the Hindu would be an excellent example. And more than that, it is up to you that what you want to do, want to read, and what are the newspapers available to you. But I think the Hindu is pan national and it's easily accessible. Even the Hindu online. So editorials, if you can find selected articles from the Hindu newspaper and its editorials. I am mentioning or recommending the Hindu or the Times of India, because that's what I have been reading for several years, and I find them, these newspapers, are very good. In which place is the upcoming course American Literature? Yeah, the upcoming course American Literature. It's not American English Literature. It is American Literature and Culture will be helpful. So how would that be helpful? It is one for general students who are interested in knowing about American literature or literature. It is again a higher order course. It's not a general English course, it's a higher order course I'll be talking about certain specific works of classic American literature. So people who are interested in knowing that. Secondly, people who appear for exams like English for competitive purposes, they have been asking what novels, what books should I read? if you go through this course and if you read some of the materials or some of the books I'm talking about, you will realize that automatically you will be imbibing a lot of higher order vocabulary and practicing your reading, which will also be helpful in other exams that you are taking. And most importantly, it's American literature is a standard course for most colleges and university as part of their English literature program. So people who are appearing or who are interested in this, they can opt for the course. Again, people who appear for exams which are more literature and culture studies specific, for example, exams such as JRF and NET for English. Okay, so they also would find it useful. Yes, I'm sure Nada Sandeep, the newspaper you have mentioned, Indian Express, is also excellent. Yes, I also find it's of very high quality. So please go ahead. As I said, whatever is available to you and whatever are your requirements. So based on that, but please keep looking. And this is a very general comment. All of you who are aiming to appear for certain kind of an exam, you have to look at the exam pattern or some sample question papers. For example, if somebody is appearing for 12th standard exam or CBSE or ICSE, there will always be a difference. Okay, so you have to be, oh yeah, so a CBSE student shouldn't be looking at the sample question papers of ICSE. So that is the difference. So if this is what you are trying to crack, then please stay focused on that. Do you suggest students to appear for final NPTEL exam or solving assignment will be enough? No, we expect both. If you are not submitting assignments, then also there is trouble. And if you don't appear for final exams, I mean, it trouble in the sense that I think most of you are aiming for a certificate, and certificate is also definitely based on certain conditions. You have to submit assignments and you have to appear for the end semester exam also. Uh, what is the relevance of NPTEL certificate? Is it helpful? See, any certificate is helpful. You never know how it may be of use at a later stage in life. So, my response to such kinds of questions is that if you are appearing for some course, then it's better that you complete it, fulfill all the requirements, and get the certificate. And you never know where those certificates may be of use. Mohammed Khalid, I don't need certificate. Only assignment would be sufficient for improving English. So perhaps if you don't need the certificate, it's up to you if you want to spend this kind of time in solving the assignments or taking the exam. So it's entirely up to you. Okay. If you go through the course anyway, it's going to be of enormous benefit. Um, is there any chance of getting a foreign language course like German or French in future? I think there is another course, not offered by me, but I think there could be some course, but I haven't really looked up, so I can't say this for sure. But there may be a course in these foreign languages. You can look them up. Perhaps if NPTEL is not offering, then there are other avenues to seek such courses also. I would suggest it always helps in knowing a foreign language has always been of great value. So I don't think that you should just get discouraged if it's not offered by one of our courses by one of our forums. If you feel you need a course like German and French, then please go ahead and get a certificate, enroll for the course. Maybe not with us, somewhere else. A foreign language course is always of enormous value. Uh, Exam be computer based? Yes, computer based, Abhishek. Shweta, live sessions? Yeah, but if you feel that I think we are coming to the end of the course, and I will put up your request in front of NPTEL authorities. We can always consider this. However, if you have a specific immediate concern, you can send me a mail on the discussion forum. Karthik, IIT Madras. Which Karthik is this? Oh, good morning, Karthik. How are you, Karthik? Has he also registered? Karthik, have you registered for the course? Yes, Karthik. Are you registered for the? Is he registered for the course? Yes. Good to hear from you, Karthik. If you have any question, ask me. Thank you, Karthik. Regarding do we have seminars? Yeah, we do organize seminars, but I am not too sure which area, which domain you are more interested in, Subhadeep. So, if at all, I mean, if you have any specific kind of seminar in mind, then let me know what you mean. But otherwise, I keep organizing seminars, and there are lots of conferences and workshops happening around here all the time. You just have to look up the website of IIT Madras, and you will come across various departments organize workshops and conferences through the year. It just depends on whether the conference or workshop is of immediate interest to you, and there may be sometimes even some kinds of requirements, and if you are fulfilling the requirements, you can always participate. Yeah, we will, Abhishek, it would be good if you can just direct this query at the discussion forum. Shweta and Abhishek, you can send me a mail to at the discussion forum, and we will respond to you as early as possible. At IIT Madras, lots of seminars, basically science technology, but we also do seminars and conferences on language literature and filmmaking, film studies, etc. Edison, I would suggest that you please look for the specific syllabus of this exam. My course would be of relevance to you, I'm sure. But what contents you must go through? Yes, you have to look at, because there are, where sentence completion, sentence correction, vocabulary is concerned, even essay writing, you will come across you will feel that my course could be of use to you, but always supplement it with a core textbook related to this exam. Registration form for the exam is closed or open. What happened? Registration is closed. Registration just got closed recently. On how to, uh, there's a question, some tips on how to speak fluently. Fluently, you can speak, as I just responded to someone who uh, communicator from the Netherlands. You have to practice. If you don't get enough people to practice spoken English face to face, then perhaps a good idea would be to register for an online program where you can chat um, to an instructor who can give you some kind of feedback. You shouldn't worry too much about improving English accent. The world is becoming multicultural, and the people don't really mind native accent so much. I have question. We have time for one or two more questions. Can any computer science engineering student opt for your upcoming American literature course? Will it be easy for him? I wouldn't comment on the how this how simple it would be or how easy it would be, but there is no one will prevent you from registering for this course today. You can. Earlier also, many students of engineering with engineering backgrounds had registered for this course, and they took the certificates also. They took the exam and all. But definitely, it's a higher order course because it's aimed to improve a particular ability in a certain section for a certain section of our students who are hardcore students of literature. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Arya, registration would be available up to 10th September. How can it be closer? Arya, I'm not into administration. If you feel that if you feel that registration is still open, is still going on, please look up the NPTEL website. Can you help it? Yeah, can you look this year? Somebody from NPTEL is here with me, and perhaps they can look into it. Please go to the website. See if you can announce it. English reasoning specific books are available. Um, we are not really doing English reasoning at the moment, or critical reasoning. But if you want reading passages, English, developing the comprehensive or comprehension abilities, then there are lots of books available. Critical reasoning is an area, is a very different thing. Um, Edison, how can I improve my English vocabulary? By reading books. Reading books, yes, extremely important. Daily 10 words trick, yes, you can. For starters, you can go through the course, and the course itself gives you a huge number of words. So please start looking them up, and as you look them up, you will come across, I'm very sure, more new words. You can look them up on the internet, and perhaps add lot many more words to your repertoire. So good. That's a good trick to for a beginner. Daily 10 words for a beginner. Thank you, Shubhadeep, and nice talking to all of you. Thank you so much. And Keep watching the course. You have any specific query, as I have already asked you, please respond to or please send me a mail on the discussion forum. Thank you so much. All the best.